Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be giving you my Taurus July 2020 horoscope forecast, part 1 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, well, first thing up is as far as July goes, the sun will be in Cancer from the 1st until the 22nd. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, attention, and focus on one's siblings, cousins, neighbors. It could be short journeys, local transportation, day-to-day communications. It could be matters with your vehicles, like your car, for example. It could be about a lot of focus and concentration of energy on assimilating information. It could be people that may have been prominent in your early education and even things you may have learned from that. Now, given that this is Cancerian energy, this may be done with a lot of dedication, devotion, a lot of tenacity. This could be done also with a lot of unequivocal love, basically, and a lot of sentimentality as well, a lot of sentiment, a lot of feeling, and sensitivity, but a lot of emotional energy, perhaps as well. And now in some cases this could shine the light, so to speak, on could be a Cancer sun, moon, or ascendant sibling, cousin, or neighbor, or one that embodies those characteristics. It could be one that maybe, or just one that's rather temperamental, fickle, moody, changeable, overly sensitive to criticism and ridicule, overly emotional, and just sensitive in general. So anyway, it could also shine a light, so to speak, on some issue with a temperamental vehicle as well that you may be dealing with. Anyway, people, next thing up. Well, as far as July goes, the sun will be in Leo from the 22nd until the 31st. So the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on one's home, one's family, people you're close to home with, who you are at the core, that latter part of life, or that end of life, or latter part of life. Also, emotional security, just general safety and security issues, traditions, foundations, your roots, your ancestry, the less dominant parent, which is often the mother. And given that this is Leo energy, this may be done with a lot of that Leo-like ferocity, a lot of fortitude and courage and valor, but there may be some extravagance connected with this. There might be a lot of focus on a rather extravagant home-related issue, whether it could be renovation, or you're making a transition, or what have you. It could also be at a time too where you're putting really about that focus on being maybe the center of attention, maybe being that dominant person in your home life, if you weren't already that person. And Leo energy can also manifest in being control of whatever situation you may be in. So if this is a home related situation, there might be a lot of attention on really being in control of that situation if you're in a transition period or what have you at this point of time in your life. And also there might be a lot of focus put on something very, really some extravagant spending, perhaps for that latter part of life if you're not already in it at this time. And also just being that authority and that person in your home life as well, and being in that control, that latter or end part of life if you're not already in it. So anyway, next thing up, there's going to be a lunar eclipse in Capricorn on July 5th, so the ninth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, for Taurus, I mean, this could manifest in a multitude of ways. This could be, I mean, you're talking about lunar eclipses in astrology. They are like, basically, they're full moons, but only amplified and intensified in terms of their impact. This could be about really a monumental transition, or it could be something that could have life-altering implications. And you're talking about a situation where some cases it could be something rather simple, but something that had gone going on for a protracted period. For example, such as like, since we're talking about Capricorn energy in the ninth house, such as like an end of a very pessimistic or negative philosophy, which might have been hindering you for some time, or some kind of something that might have been connected with self-sabotage or self-restriction in terms of long distance traveling abroad, some kind of fear that might have affected you at Taurus. And it might also been some fear or restriction in expanding your horizons. And this could be that time where you said enough is enough. I'm going to end this at this point in time. And it's a good period too, because you have Uranus being in your sign in Taurus right now. I have Taurus rising, as many of you may know. So this actually could be a very good period, I believe, for us people that are Taurus Sun, Moon, Ascendant people, and especially Taurus rising people, because that reflects the actual chart. And it could be a time for many of you where a certain orthodox or conventional outlook or some kind of religion might come to an end. It might be a time when you're talking about, full moon, lunar eclipses. This could be a time where you become where a lot of the suppressed energy, emotion just comes out and is unleashed in a very powerful manner when one becomes very tired, exasperated, simply strongly full of a situation or a person. It could be somebody that might have been, older person, or maybe somebody that was really tyrannical or ruthless or dictatorial that might have been involved. Maybe in your higher education played a role in that. It could be a grandparent in some cases, or a foreigner you may have known, or somebody you met through traveling abroad or publishing. And this could be a time where you're talking, where you've had enough is enough, and really this is the time to really about moving forward. Because a lot of times when you're talking about endings in astrology, endings like with lunar eclipses, they could signify endings, but remember that endings can also be about new beginnings. This also can signify some cases a very prominent female in your life scheme may be departing. It might be somebody, since we're talking about the ninth house, it could be a grandmother that might be leaving. It could be a Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Capricorn traits. It could be somebody, an older person that was prominent in a religious congregation, might be leaving your life. Somebody you knew at a college, university, or somebody you met perhaps through traveling abroad. Anything that could be ninth house related, because a lot of times you're talking about lunar eclipses in astrology can often signify departures of prominent or dominant female people that were in our life schemes. So anyway, well, next thing up, there's going to be a new moon in Cancer on July 20th, so the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So for many of you Taurians out there, this could be just simply the start of nurturing your communications at this time. It could be the beginning of a Cancerian type writing. It could be something like with history or nostalgia, something with cooking, something that involves rescuing or writing about homes or renovation or remodeling, your experiences in your home and family life, something that might be pertaining to family or maybe your ancestry. It could be something where you're paying ancestral worship to at this time as far as a writing goes. It could be rekindling a connection with maybe a Cancer Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person you knew from your early education, or one that simply embodies Cancerian traits. Could also be a time where some cases you might be welcoming a new sibling into your life. It could be a Cancer Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies. Well, actually, if that person happened to be born this day, of course, well, it actually would be a Cancer. I'm sorry, it would be a Cancer Sun and Moon, and of course the Ascendant dependent on time of birth. But the thing about this too is another way this could manifest. It could be about a new period where you might begin to nurture and maybe care for maybe siblings, cousins, neighbors, even more so than usual at this time, Taurus, and maybe about showing a little bit more sympathy toward them and empathy if you hadn't already done so. This could also be about the start of some I call introverted communications, more in the home, since we're talking about Cancerian energy and the third house at this time. So anyway, hold on a moment, people. Next thing up is, well, Mercury will be in Cancer, so the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So for Taurus at this time, well, it could be a time where you might be doing a lot of reminiscing with siblings, with cousins, with neighbors. It might be people that you know that are prominent in your short journeys, your local transportation. It could be about talking about maybe Cancerian things you learned in your early education. Could it be things with laundry or with cooking, with something that's connected with culinary work, or maybe matters pertaining to history. Also, it's a time where you may be contemplating short journeys at this time, Taurus, and there might be more involved with communications regarding Cancerian things like food, cooking, the home, family, matters connected with rescuing, safety and security, and you may be doing this again with siblings, with cousins, and with neighbors at this time. And your mind may really be focused right now more on local transportation, short journeys, and very dedicated and devoted to them, since we're talking about Cancerian energy. Remember that Mercury is also associated with siblings, with cousins, with our neighbors. So it could be Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people that are siblings, cousins, or neighbors, or ones that embody those traits that might figure more prominently in your short journeys, your local communications, the things that you learn perhaps from your early education at this time. So anyway, well, last but not least, Venus will be in Gemini, so the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, one way this may manifest could be in having peaceful communications with people that you value. It could be people that you generate income with, like at your job, of course, and also that love, being enamored with Gemini talents that may have been latent, that might have been dormant for some time. They could be something with dexterity, such as being able to work on vehicles, like doing auto mechanics, or doing something like with refrigeration mechanics as well. It could be things like with juggling, strong use of the hands, writing, journalism, doing something with data or satellite communication, showing versatility. This could also be about valuing versatility in diversification, in money-making matters, and also just the love of just the being able to be doing manifold things, and being in versatility could lead to greater self-esteem and self-worth. Now, in some cases, this could manifest in a Gemini relationship. Again, it could be like a Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or one that embodies those characteristics. Might figure more prominently your self-worth, how you feel about yourself, your possessions, your resources, the money you make. It could simply be somebody that's very mercurial or multifaceted person that's very loquacious and talkative, and talks about manifold subjects. So and also about the love of maybe buying and selling many different things, a variety of objects, or just something. They could be like communications objects at this time. It could also just be very auspicious for money right now in general, and it could be by using your mental ability at this time, and shrewdness, Taurus, because you are talking about Gemini energy. Talking about Venus is about money, and the second house is, of course, about money. So again, it could be very beneficial and auspicious for monetary matters for you at this time. And I'm actually going to have this hitting my the transit. Venus and Gemini is going to be hitting my part of fortune soon. So I hope it could actually be very beneficial for me. I'm hoping. So anyway, people, That'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.